Well, we have a tendency to want to believe that people in authority or organizations that run things uh, are in power because they've earned it. And so there's an assumption that if someone is the mayor of the town, he's worked for many years and made his way up the political ladder. We have an assumption. I've just talked with people today about, what was it yesterday? I was talking with people about assuming here in Texas that if you're rich, you must somehow be good. You must have worked hard. You must have done that, or the other thing. Um, and and so if someone is not published by a big house, there's the assumption there has to be something wrong. Because how could those experts be wrong? Of course, if you look at a Zadie Smith or Dave Eggers or Donald Hall, who just recently died, or all these people who've had their poems or plays or novels or what short stories published by big presses, it's overwhelmingly bad. And it's obvious, and I've said this many times before, is people in 50 and 100 years, when I'm safely dead, are going to look at these videos. They're going to read my 13, 14, 1,500 essays, whatever I've written. They're going to read my stuff, and the quality is going to be evident. And the points that I make about the art scene at the turn of this millennium, people are going to say, I don't get that, because he's not only correct, but he's obviously correct. I'm obviously correct that this film or this director or this writer or this book is good or bad. How could people have I mean, but there is that natural tendency. And for young people like this Dan Linden, who's 21, or Chin, who's 21, or this Jose Gabriel in Puerto Rico, I think he's 20, or Mohel, who's like 17 or 18 now, or this Wakas kid who's 21, or Laura Woods who's 21 or 22. Laura, though, doesn't buy it, but they have been raised and acculturated to think that authority means a certain expertise and a certain rightness. And I'm always heartened that someone like you a few years ago when you were a bit younger, or this Linden, or some of these kids in these younger 20s, what I've told Jessica, sort of like the second generation of Cosmoetica fans that is now coming online or whatnot, that they are able to see. Because if I read, like when Chin just recently wrote this thing about my elements of a story, I would probably agree with 95 to 90% of his points, and the few minor points that he gets are usually, or doesn't get, are usually cultural differences that he's mistaken or something. But he's obviously coming in with an open mind. Most people in these MFA systems aren't. They have a financial stake in things being poor. They have a financial stake in gulling and ripping off people. Oh, we can show you how to be a great artist. You could be the next Emily Dickinson if you just want to pay $35,000, $40,000 for an MFA degree. And so, I mean, it all comes back to that.